And Matthew really let him off the hook. He said, yeah, it's correct. He responded very positively, but I could see a negative reaction to that. You're just demanding, is this correct? It's not against the rules. You call me into your office and say, is this correct?
Yeah.
Why are you getting into my personal life that has nothing to do with my job, and this is specifically not against the rules?
That's kind of how our group played it out. It's like, who said that? Like, who's... like, what do you mean? Like there's like no policy against it. Like, why is this a problem? Like, who's spreading rumors? Like, what's... Like, we took it as more like a defensive answer. Like, who's coming to you complaining?
Yeah. So we've got some very receptive receivers so far in the first two scenarios. I mean, pretty.
I personally think that when we are talking about such personal things, we should always talk with evidences in hand.
With what?
Evidences in hand.
Evidence in hand. Okay.
Than just saying that I heard this and so I believe it.
Well, okay, you're going to get very short and sweet. Because like you said, I'm going to get short and sweet and say, I've heard this. So we did have the evidence. Like, I've heard that you were being too affectionate, and I've heard that you're giving preferential treatment. And that might be vague, to like point. Does that make sense?
But preferential, I mean, giving a preference could be at personal level also, or it could get a government. So what we are talking is on the personal, no environment. So I still think that we should come with evidences like maybe should have come up that why did you avoid her? I mean, or why was the pay hike given to her? Then you should have justified that.
Okay. I would not disagree with that. That may be a productive way to approach this conversation. I would also throw out that maybe it doesn't even need to get to that level. That you could just say, let's talk about this. This is a problem that some people have mentioned. Can we resolve this quickly and easily? And that is a note I had about the way Kerry posed this. He did not pose it as a discussion and let's talk. He threw out his conclusion and said, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Again, Matthew let him off the hook. He didn't get combative. But it could have been just an easier, let's see if we can resolve this, because I know you want to resolve this. You're a talented professional, you care about your job. You don't want to have people saying that you're being too affectionate and you're giving preferential treatment. No one wants that. So let's think of a way to resolve that. Because I saw some other hands. Okay?
So I think as a manager, talk further about her point is, you want to just jump into this conversation. You actually look around and see if it's actually true or not. Like, you're going to see if he is giving preferential treatment to his new girlfriend. But, and if you do realize that, I personally wouldn't bring up specific things, because then the other person is just going to get defensive.
Yeah. All right. You don't want to split hairs unless you have to. If you can just say, this is what I heard, can we resolve it? I think that's the better approach. Are there creative suggestions?
Yeah, I was the observer in this scenario, and I thought he did a good job of saying, she sort of ended it with, it was an open discussion. You know, I'm glad we talked about it. I hope that, you know, if there are any more issues, like I can talk about it again, or if you want to talk to me, you can bring it up.
Okay.
So it was very positive.
Good. So positive in approaching it as an open discussion. Any other comments? Okay, so let's do this last scenario. Small group scenario 3. So, office manager. Christian, you want to be the office manager? And Ricky, you want to be DJ?
Girl, the guy and girls even worse.
Oh, good.
Hi, Jamie. Can I just have a quick conversation
yeah.
with you? I just wanted to have a quick conversation with you regarding something that's come to my attention.
Oh, is it okay?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought I know what you were talking about.
No, sorry. It's just an issue that's come to my attention that I just wanted to talk about. Keep it brief. It's kind of awkward situation approach. It's come to my attention recently through various complaints from several coworkers that your workspace seems tracking
it's
some.
coming from the vet. I actually noticed it too the other day. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely diving. I'm glad we're doing that.
We could definitely look into that. From what I've heard, it's a personal body odor.
Jay.
I haven't noticed this. I'm just going off of what I've heard.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring it to your attention because I definitely don't want people going behind your back. If they're going behind your back to make fun of you or anything like that.
Wait,
They're
what?
talking-
Why are we, what are we
The
talking about here?
complaints
I'm really confused, I'm sorry.
The complaints have come in that you have a body odor and that's distracting some of the other employees. So I just wanted to bring it. I can't tell you.
Well, I mean, I know there's some people who are pretty jealous of me and my new people. So, I don't know, I mean, do you smell me? Do I smell to you? Do you smell me?
That's a little inappropriate.
I feel like the whole discussion is inappropriate, actually. I feel very
As a
attacked
manager,
and
when
I don't
when
know
I'm receiving complaints from other employees, I have to bring it up. I can't
Okay.
just ignore. So I just wanted to bring it up.
Wait,
Obviously, it's not something that I've noticed, but it's come to my attention from other people. I can't mention who because obviously that's a confidentiality thing. But
You got anything to say about it?
I can't
Can
really
you just make,
discuss.
like, how do I do my hair?
I
Is it my shoe?
again, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it to your
Well,
attention.
I have to say, I'm
Just
feeling a bit
because.
attacked right now, and I think we're gonna need to leave off to recover from this. I'm embarrassed. I don't know how I feel about coming into work tomorrow. I think I might need 2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks.
Oh, shit.
2 weeks off is not something that we
You
can
can't.
grant, especially with short notice. You know, our company policy, you bring up this date ahead of time just so we can account for it.
Yeah, I would say this is an emergency. I mean, I feel like super embarrassed. I
Well,
don't
why
know
would you
if I
need
can
2
work.
weeks off?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
What are you gonna do for 2 weeks? What are you gonna do for a week?
Well, I mean, my ego's attacked. I feel terrible. I'm scared. Who's
Well,
talking about
I'm
me? Like, my
bringing
friends.
it to
Why
you.
isn't anyone
I'm
told me? I've
bringing
been working for 6 years.
I'm bringing it to your attention because it's come to mind, and I don't want people going behind your back to make jokes because I know
Are people doing it?
I don't know, but I want to prevent that
Okay.
because I know people do talk. You know how people are. So I'm trying to address this before it gets to that level.
Is she crying? No, she's not. I didn't do this if you were there.
2 weeks, not gonna happen.
No, I mean, I have to go.
You can definitely go home early today if you want.
Okay.
Obviously, it's an uncomfortable
Yeah.
thing to talk about, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention so that it doesn't become an issue and you don't feel like people are making fun of you.
Okay.
Feel free. I know this is awkward for you to take the rest of the day.
Okay. I think clean up till next week.
You can have the rest of the day. Wow.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, God, I love it. I love it. Oh,
I really want to help with that.
I wanted to tell you to get up there and show us how I wanted to show us
all right, so we will definitely talk about what a better way or, you know, how to, what a way to approach this is, but let's comments for the way Christian approached this and how he dealt with this difficult scenario.
I think he did a pretty good job with the cycling She's asking for 2 weeks, and she's being very adamant about it. The way he handled it, well, there's a new policy. Personally, if you needed it, I would give it to you. But like the way he could have said it, like I could give it to you, but there's a new policy, and that prohibits me from allowing it.
Oh, okay, that's fine, but it feeds into a point that I would like to make, that they were even discussing 2 weeks off, like in the middle of this conversation. It just should have been a non-issue. All right, we may have to have a separate discussion about that, and we can, but let's focus on the issue at hand. Great.
I think in dealing with an issue like this, you just have to work it out like a Band-Aid. I think in the beginning you were trying to get into it and she was taking advantage of that and it just got more and more awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And remember when she said she didn't realize that he was talking about her having bad body odor? Did you know, Christian, at that point that it hadn't been clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a long time for the discussion to go on without clearly, this is the issue that we need to discuss. Blake?
I thought it was really good improv on both their parts. I thought Rick definitely played her part well, and Christian had great responses for it. But I thought the real focus shouldn't have been on the odor. It should have been on like the company's policy on hygiene, and say it applies to everyone across the board. We've heard some complaints about you specifically. We need you to follow this policy. We need you to fix the issue. We value you as an employee. We like you here. We want to keep you here. But this is a condition of your employment, and everyone needs to follow this.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good approach. Rip off the Band-Aid and focus on the specific policy. And what about the curveball that she threw of, can you smell me right now? That was a tough one for Christian. How could that have been handled? I think he handled it by saying, no, I do not smell you right now. And I have not noticed it.
I think,
He said I thought he said it was appropriate. Like, I don't really.
but I was just saying, he said, it's, I personally, I haven't smelled it, but if it's brought to my attention as a manager, I need to address it. And I think that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's-
Okay, I think that's a good answer. My thought was that Ricky could have smelled blood at that point and said, if you can't smell it right now, why is there an issue?
I was like, but you don't smell anything. That's kind of, I feel like if you say, if you lie and you say you don't smell somebody, like, then you're like, well, there's not, other people are just lying or something. I feel like you should say like, yeah, I've noticed it a couple of times, but, I don't work with you closely or something, like, because otherwise they can shrug it off like,
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
yeah, I mean, that was room you had to
Attack.
really attack. And you did a little bit, but I think you had him on the ropes at that point. Because if you can't smell it, then it's not an issue. Other thoughts? Yeah.
I think Jamie, Ricky, we impose her body language or language on the manager because she was talking in a voice that was louder than her supervisors, and Chris had like a really like low voice, so I felt like she was more superior than him in a way. Whereas if he has a right to, not has a right, but he can impose himself more.
Okay, so that's an interesting discussion. So the comment is made that Ricky's louder voice made it look like she was in charge, and Christian could have used a louder voice that made it look like he was in charge. What do y'all think?
Screaming match. They just kept trying to talk over each other. Ricky didn't seem like she was interested in backing down from, I don't smell and I'm taking 2 weeks off.
Christian?
I just feel like if a manager escalates the match at that point, then it's kind of results in a personal attack.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's insightful that you noticed that, Carrie, and how that may have affected the dynamic, but sure, I would not necessarily give Christian or anyone the advice that you need to be louder or impose yourself more like a manager. Should illustrate your power with your specific words, your specific actions. Never really tell anyone just to talk louder.
He was getting his point across, I think, and he kept it at the main level, didn't have to speak. He kept bringing the point home.
Good, good. Okay.
I think he did, it took a little long to get to the point. If he started with saying, this has been brought to my attention, and before, you come back, before you start, chatting or talking, I just want to make sure that I address this, because I don't want other people to talk behind your back, or I don't want other people in front of you, not that they're doing it, but I want to prevent it before it even happens.
Okay.
So right now, I'm trying to look out for you and give you understanding that this is a hard situation to be in, but as a manager, I need to address it.
Fair enough. Okay.
I think the hardest part is trying figuring out how to tell somebody that they smell without making them mad. And our group went with the approach. She said, what maybe you need to like change your perfume so the person doesn't think that they have body odor. Maybe they just gets them thinking about they have some weird smells.
Okay. All right, so that's an interesting. So instead of saying a body odor, say maybe you need to think about changing your perfume.
Yeah, just to get them thinking that.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. I do see some potential problems with that. One, you're engaging at all in the discussion of how they should correct their body odor, which could get into an area that could get you in trouble. Telling someone how to shower, telling someone what sort of deodorant to use. That's if they get mad, and if they dislike the way you approach that, then it could get really bad. And I like Blake's approach. Let's just focus on the company issue. Company issue is everyone needs to have proper hygiene, et cetera, et cetera. That's just a condition of employment. What can I do to help you with that? Or you may not even say, what can I do to help with that? That's where we are. Can we correct this situation? Then if they ask you, well, what sort of perfume? Then I would say, sure, it's very nice at that point. Great, and good job with that, Krishna. Thanks for being a good sport. I chose Vicky specifically because I saw her do this with that type of questioning in the small group scenario. So let's move on, and let's just do one more to finish up tonight. I want to do this class scenario 1. This is a team dynamic, and perhaps you'll have some personal experience with difficult conversations with team members. You'll definitely have some thoughts, I imagine. I'll read the scenario to you really quick. We'll just do the scenario, and then we'll go. So, you are an MBA student at Rutgers Business School, and you have worked on several team projects with the same group of students in your finance class. One member, Alex, does not seem to be contributing as much as everyone else. Alex did the bare minimum for the first project, and promised to contribute more for the second project. Although Alex did put in more effort for the second part, the work was not completed on time or in the correct format. So you and the others needed to step up at the last minute to complete the project. You are now about to begin the third and final class project, and you would like to talk with Alex about improving the quality of the work and submitting it to the team ahead of time. You are worried that Alex will get defensive when you suggest that the quality be improved, because Alex did put in a lot of work last time, and you are also afraid that Alex will think you are being unreasonable if you suggest that the work be submitted ahead of time. But your grade in this class is important, and you need to talk with Alex. Any questions? Jay, you want to be Alex?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, somebody want to be the other team member initiating this conversation? All right, Lynn. Whenever you're ready.
So he's Alex?
Yeah, he's Alex. You're the team member who wants to increase Alex's performance on the team.
And project just got assigned.
You're ready to start the third and final project.
Okay. So I didn't realize it was going to be like a split like this. I was going to try to say that all of us are submitting the assignment in on the 20th, when actually like the remaining members are submitting it on the 21st, so that without knowing he's submitting it a day early.
Oh, okay. All right. So for the purpose of this scenario, the due date is the 21st, right? So we know that. Due date is 21st, and now you can approach your discussion with Alex.
So we have this assignment coming up for our last project of class, and I think all of us need to do really well.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I got a party on Friday, then a couple of my buddies and I were going to Hawaii on Saturday, but totally agree. I mean, last project, man, second project, I worked my tail off, but now I just got a lot. So yeah, we definitely will kill it. Don't worry about it.
You did. We really appreciate the time that you put in, and we
Yeah,
definitely.
did you see that C we got? I mean, that's a great grade, right?
There's definite improvement from the first project to the second. And honestly, I really want this trend to continue. I think it really helped us both. Both of us need this class, and it's critical for our major. And for our knowledge going forward, I think we can learn a lot from the project itself. So here's what we need. We need to get all of our deadlines in order, all of our responsibilities laid out. here's what you're gonna do, here's what I'm gonna do, and we're all gonna submit it on the 21st.
All right, sounds good. So I had a late day at work today, and my school class just got out. Can I? You want to do this over email then? I mean, I'll be in like Hawaii. I don't think they have internet there. Maybe they do. But the beach doesn't have that great
As long
Wi-Fi.
as you can get that information to us, we can, the rest of the members are gonna figure this out. But we just need
Okay, so you guys
everyone's
are going to take
piece.
care of it. And then
We just
get
need
back
your,
to me,
your
or-
piece by this day, so that we can all collaborate and make a consolidated project to submit, so that all of us have the same grades. But we really just need your piece so we can compile it all together. It's the last piece of the puzzle.
Oh, so okay, so I'm the last piece. So I'll wait until everyone's piece is done, and then I'm the last piece, right?
No, we all submitted at the same time, and we put it all together. We just want all the puzzle pieces in the box at the same time.
Okay.
It's a big picture.
All right. So,
And the picture we're trying to piece together is an A on this project.
well, now you're talking. Very ambitious stuff here. But that's
Pretty-
okay.
We're a pretty
I'm
ambitious
gonna-
group.
Yeah, no,
Your effort.
I can definitely help out with this. But
Hey, we
well,
really,
what's my part? Because I worked really hard in the last part, and I feel like I really carried everything to get that seat. So, personally, I think that, I think my piece should be a little bit smaller than the other groups, right?
well,
What do
we
you think?
really appreciate the effort that you put in, and this is assigned to all of us, so all of us should have an equal share of the workload. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I know the first part of the project kind of slacked out as my buddy's bachelor party, so I had to go represent him. Second part, I worked a lot harder than everyone else, I personally feel. So this one I was thinking, since, no, then a lot, I'm thinking now that I'm, like, a little bit less, like, 20% of the project that I could contribute towards at the very end, last piece of the puzzle, so that.
Sure is.
Okay, perfect.
We'll send you a template of exactly what you need to fill out,
Okay.
and all we need you to do is input the raw data and send it back to us.
Okay,
From there,
perfect.
We'll be set.
All right, so, and
All right, no one's condoning your effort, no one's saying you're slacking. We're just saying, here's what we need, please provide this.
yeah, definitely, I can definitely do that. I definitely want to help that. So the 21st, get it to you.
Start
And then
at that,
that's, okay, 21st, right?
By the 21st.
Perfect, all right.
Awesome.
You want anything from Hawaii?
Yeah, bring me a luau.
Okay, perfect.
All right, good job. All right, comment. Priya.
I don't think that's how that conversation
Yeah.
was actually done. We did bring up, like, what he did wrong in the past, sort of make sure to correct it.
Yeah. So what happened there, Liz?
Well, I didn't know if you go put too much emphasis on what went wrong, because I'm more worried about my grade, and I don't want him to have this defensive impression of me. I want him to believe that I'm on his side, everything's going great. I just need you to maintain that same effort or more effort that you had in the second project, because there was improvement. He was told that something was wrong, and he did make vast efforts to correct it. So I don't think that berating him for an error or saying it's not good enough is going to be the right way of motivating him to do better on the next project. I want to compliment his effort to say that he has contributed something. It wasn't worthless what he submitted. We're just going to specifically tell you what you need to give us a day early, without him knowing that's a day early, and for us to say, like, the day we receive this information, what needs to be corrected, what's different or not.
Okay, good. So as this scenario played out, you definitely preserved the relationship and you made him happy. Did you change your strategy from the beginning of the conversation to the end? For example, before you started this conversation, did you want to tell him you wanted it in a certain format? You wanted him to work harder than he worked on project 2, and you wanted it a day early?
Well, I didn't want to say to work harder, and I wanted him to not know that he's submitting a day early. But I knew coming in, I didn't want to say that here's what you did wrong.
Okay. So did he agree to submit it a day early? No.
No, but he's agreed to submit it on the day that I selected.
It was the 21st.
Versus the 21st.
Which is the agreed upon due date.
Yeah.
20th was there, it was due 21st.
So whatever, in this scenario, it's the 22nd now, that it's due for everyone, but we set the 21st because what's communicated to him.
Okay. So we thought that he basically won that argument because he said, I'm going to submit it on the 21st. I think that's what I thought.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it is. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was due.
But I'll give you that point that you thought you were telling him to submit it a day early. So that's fine, but I would say, so you potentially accomplished that in your mind, fine. But I would say you did not approach, and this is an issue of debate, you did not approach that you wanted to actually increase his level of work and give it in a different format. And it seemed like you did that to preserve the relationship, which is certainly a valid argument. But what I think we want to discuss to be productive is to think about how you could have done that in a way that still would have preserved the relationship.
It might have been easier too if we had a specific project and I can outline the detailed goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Christian? More of what?
More about me, like me as a team, than talking about you who have done this stuff.
Okay, I thought his tone was like all about we and team, and it was like a great, friendly conversation. I thought he did all that. The only thing was he didn't accomplish any of his quote-unquote business objectives, which was to have a difficult conversation about increasing his level of output and the correct format.
Well, I think, in this situation, talking about teamwork or way for a team being out that because, Jay and Lex have different expectations for the project. So Jay thinks C is great enough, and Lex really got A. So in this situation, since we got different expectations, so probably it is hard to talk about common benefits.
So we can't motivate Jay by saying, let's get a good grade.
Yeah. So
This might even be a see it my way exercise. I think an A is good, you think a C is good. Let me try to convince you that an A is good.
And other thing is, in the last part, we actually do a good job about coaching today what they need to do. I think in this situation, it's consider about the first project and second project, they did a good job. Probably, no, it's not personal. Okay. So, probably about the benefits of activities or something that what Jay is done now, accomplished to result. So in this situation, I think, as a leader of the project, actually give more instruction about what you need to do in that market.
So he did, right?
Yeah,
he gave
he did.
And I would agree with that too. He gave very clear instructions, but it seemed like he gave up a lot. Like, I'm going to do the template for you. All you have to do is input the raw data. In fact, the day that it's due. He didn't say I did it a couple days early. He says just input. So I feel like he preserved the relationship with a positive conversation and a positive, I'll spell it out for you, but he didn't get the productivity that he could have out of Jay. Arvin?
The other way you could have approached it is doing it together and saying, meeting up now. That way you can kind of, if Jay is not picking up his slack, you can kind of push him a little bit that specific thing. And you would also ensure that project is done on time or a day ahead.
Okay, absolutely. Carol?
We also can we can deal with them. Tell them okay, we get the project done, then we go to party. Like that, to use something as motivation to make them. Because like you said, you want
go to
to
Hawaii with you.
and then there's a C, so you gotta find some common ground. And if he likes to party, he likes weed or something, just go and what I'm saying is like go and get the project done first, and then do whatever y'all want to do later.
I just wanted to the strategy. I knew that my challenge was the project. It wasn't Jay, so I was gonna pick the easiest and hardest to mess up work. That there's no way he can screw this up, and that's what he gets to get whatever work I can get out of it, and just figure it out with the other team members.
Yeah, and that's the decision I've already made. That it's fine. This is not working. I'm just going to take what I can get from Jay and do that. And it's understandable that you would want to do that to preserve the relationship. But difficult discussion for us now is what if that's not good enough? How could you go to the next level and crack that very argumentative team member? Not argumentative team member that has different expectations. Team member that doesn't see it your way. Team member that's just objectively not doing the amount of work he should.
Isn't also sometimes the case that their work sucks, maybe you just would rather do it for them because you know your product's going to be
Yeah,
better?
and that's what I was thinking, that's what I was thinking, like in a sense.
Forget it, do it myself. My grade is important. At least I don't have to talk to you.
Get it, yes. All right, so some great comments today. I hope you enjoyed these exercises. I hope you thought about ways you can use these emotional intelligence skills in these types of situations. I'll look forward to seeing you all next week for our last class. And just briefly, I'll say your last assignment is due next week. So pat yourselves on the back, one more assignment in this class. It is the thesis subheading format of an emotional intelligence summary, or emotional intelligence study. And your job there is to think about how emotional intelligence fits into some concise main points, or one concise main point supported by 2 or 3 supporting points. And please take a look at the 2 times you've done this exercise previously with the written conclusion and the Dell summary. I worked through all those, and if I didn't think your thesis was clear, I gave you that comment on the last one and the one before. And I feel like this thesis subheading format is a difficult exercise for MBAs to do sometimes. Sometimes you just want to list data. Sometimes you want to say a lot of complicated, insightful things about all this. But this exercise, or this subject in particular, emotional intelligence, might even be more difficult than the other things. Because we're talking about creativity, we're talking about emotions, we're talking about personal feelings and animosity, all that sort of stuff. So the challenge for you is how you can wrap all that up into this is the useful thing I want to say about emotional intelligence. Okay?
So are we phrasing in the sense that you're talking to somebody, convincing them of something, like having emotional intelligence will make you a better manager?
Yes, I think, does anyone have the syllabus in front of them? What does it say? It says the value of emotional intelligence. What does it say?
It says to reflect on emotional intelligence content discussed in class and write an essay about what emotional intelligence is and how useful it is for individuals who need to communicate effectively in a business environment. Please use the thesis and subheadings frameworks discussed in class. The essay, and then he goes into.
Okay, so what emotional intelligence is and how it's useful for people who need to communicate in a business environment. So you might say, emotional intelligence is this, and it's useful in this way. And the challenge is going to be, instead of listing a bunch of ways that emotional intelligence is useful, instead of referencing a number of scenarios, it's how can you condense it down to one clear thesis supported by a few subheadings. Suppose your boss sent you to a workshop on emotional intelligence, and she or he wants a quick summary of why it's useful, or maybe just how verbally you would say, this is what emotional intelligence is and why it's useful. If you can say that succinctly and clearly, then you will have accomplished a couple things. One, you will have taken all this touchy-feely kind of creative stuff we've done in the last few sessions and condensed it down to a useful value statement, which should help you as you go forward trying to use this stuff. Two, when you submit that essay to your boss, she or he will be able to look at it and immediately know what you're talking about. It will be immediately clear from the title, from the thesis you choose, from the subheadings. Oh, this is what our PIT learned at that workshop I sent him to. Make sense? Questions? All right. Well, congratulations on having just one assignment left. I look forward to reading it and seeing you next week.
No, Ricky hit like a oh, the train is. You hear it right there? Yeah. The next one comes in like. I just need to get my little.
It's not like you got an every car or something. It only takes like 15 minutes anyway. I don't know. I like my USB drive and all that works. I will put my Good luck. You're gonna kill it. I'll be here after. See you guys. So we're going back to each of the say how that skill also yeah, so her thesis is yes, so for the supplements, you may say. So you should know, try to communicate that. For the emotional you know, freak out, freak out in some sort of, have some sort of decreases your pressure. All back to your piece.
Whatever source, because 3 subheadings,
Yes, well, that's, you remember your thesis sentence should provide you with the subheadings. So I read your thesis sentence.
thesis of one statement, one sentence about what you're talking about.
Thank you. Good, good. And good job on the scenario there.
These are tough.
Yeah, thank you very much. Questions? Oh, on the corporate change. Okay. So what is it? Oh, you're right on the edge. All right, see Michael. Oh, and Michael, you can submit past class participation.
Yeah, I know.
Whenever you
I have
need to.
hours of
Okay.
class watches underwater. I loaded my plate up. I think I'm a little bit too much this semester.
Okay.
Too word.
All right.
I'm taking an online class, which is just like.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you in class.
The
I mean,
workload.
if you want to get a few extra points in.
No, I definitely plan on it. I've been trying to figure out my schedule for the weekend. I appreciate you flexible with it.
Okay.
A lot of people aren't, so.
All right.
Thank you. You'll all be in, don't worry.
All right. All right. So, one meter probably.
I've actually mentioned that. I forecast and I'm excited to use the number
have departments which you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still could be reduced to 20%. Reduce to, or reduce 20%, or reduce to 20%. I think it could be either. I would look at that and I would say, we may, we have 200 now, we're gonna have 20. Oh my God.
Reduce the number of also. Reduce the number. Reduce the number.
So you could say 20% of the frontline tellers will be laid off. 80% of senior managers will be laid off. 80% will be let go.
I do want to actually lay them off. So the other part is like, what objective has the company taken up to support employee during this transition, right? So that part, like, is very tough decision, and management is trying its best to come up with a solution or to reduce the impact. That's what it is. And 2 weeks from now, we will send out emails to employees who are affected by that. But we will also extend our notice period. So we are actually doing something like extending the notice period. The notice period was 6 weeks. We're trying to extend it to 8 weeks, 2 weeks of pushing so that people can find opportunities, as well as we are also trying to assign opportunities to different departments.
So there's like, so you said 2 weeks, you've got this 2-week period of potential chaos and anxiety where people are wondering what's going to happen. And
So in 2 weeks, I'm going to send out the email as one part. So if people get some mail, what support that I'm doing from my side is I'm extending the company's policy of 6 weeks of pay, like the notice period that 8 weeks. So I'm giving 2 weeks extra.
okay, okay, yes, I hear that.
That can be a big support. I mean, giving 2 weeks extra, people can find more opportunities. And at the same time, I'm also like, so they can even try to find opportunity in the same company in different departments. So I'm not trying to lay off completely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I still feel like, alright, so I feel that's one thing. I would say the extra 2 weeks does not seem that big of a deal. I realize you think it might be a big deal, but when you're about to lose your job, over the next 2 weeks you're going to be notified, or in 2 weeks you're going to be notified, so you just sit in potential confusion and anxiety for 2 weeks. The fact that I'm going to get an extra 2 weeks of severance or transition time will not cover it. And I would also want to know, how is this going to work? Different departments are elsewhere, and I'm going to give you preferential treatment. Is there going to be a committee set up? Is there going to be a direct manager I can talk to coach me through this difficult situation? I feel like there's not enough support there.
No, different department. I'm not promising anything here. Different department or elsewhere, like anywhere, like even in yeah. That's the best I could do from my side. That's what I'm promising the employee.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this is a hard thing that has come up, and depends on how we actually we trying our best to reduce the impact, but then whatever we could do that we can do, but we have promised ahead of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had to be clear about that, and you were clear about that. So it's like, this is the best I can do, but my concern is that you've got this period of confusion and anxiety that may not have been too bad if you had explained how this is going to work a little bit more about the details of the support, and if you hadn't had this terrifyingly confusing 20% or 80%. that's just a, it's a 20% away from television and reduced by the following.
Reduce the number of road. So reducing the number of road floors, I'm not saying reducing by, reducing to, just reducing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just reducing something. I'm not saying reducing to something, but reducing something.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's hard for you to get it. Just, yeah, but I'm on the edge also, so.
All right. What's your grade?
I think 117. So, yeah, I lost a lot of weight in that something. I did spend a lot of time actually on this case. But I think my thesis wasn't clear, that's what I think. So I got the whole idea. I was like more summarizing the whole thing rather than giving a. Yeah, I think so. I think 93 is. No, not 8%. 93 is A. I don't know that it's like 8%.
Right. All right, yeah, don't talk. The last. Yeah. And this is, just as this is a common problem. Smart MBAs that want to get away.
I was analyzing the whole, what do you say? No, it was very interesting, this particular case. There.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good summary, is what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm just not clear on the thesis, like giving a conclusion or something.
Yeah.
But as a summary, I think it's quite different.
If your boss asks you, sum it up in one sentence, what did Dell do? You should be able to say, after doing this exercise, you should be able to say, Dell did this by doing this, this, and this. And then boom, it's immediately clear, I can dive into more detail if I need to. But that's your value statement as an MBA. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of good stuff. And a good thing, and I totally believe that you work hard on this.
There's that work. But yeah, I think thesis I can keep on this, right? What can be the thesis?
Okay, so the thing is, what would be a good Dell thesis? It might be Dell successfully used social media by centralizing, involving employees, and leveraging its being private. So that might be three things that Dell did to make social media better.
Leveraging being private, like from public to private. But that has nothing to do with social media. That is their company policy, like from B2B, from B2C, that to B2B. But that has nothing to do with social media.
Well, we talked about that a private company allowed the company to think longer term. So they were more interested in building relationships on social media than they were about closing a sale on social media.
But I think
It doesn't have to be your thesis. I'm just saying that could be your thesis. Dell, successful social media, you could reason 1, 2, and 3. That's what I want to immediately be clear when I see your paper. So DNA, I mean,
So it, like from the beginning when it was founded from 1984, like when it became public in 1987. So between the 1986 or something, they had their first online Dell.com. So I mean, like from the beginning when people were not even aware of the .com thing, they were into .com, and so it's in their DNA.
Social media, but is social media and .com the same thing?
All social media is .com, right? And then in the late 2000s, the boom of social media, and then they started with different blogs. So they were the first ones, obviously. Yeah.
All right, fine. I like where you're going. You could have had a whole paper about how Dell was first. That could be your thesis. Dell was first in every area. They were first on blogs. They were first on direct to customer. They were first on social media. So that's the thesis. Go, Mike. Rajesh, you give me this essay. You tell me that the key to Dell's success is being first. And social media is just an example of another thing they were first at. That would have been a thesis. That would have been a paper I could say, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know exactly the value and where you're going. You could also say that social media is just something that's in the culture of the company. They were successful because it was in their culture. And then you could have 3 bullet points. Michael Dell culturally did this. Like the top executives had this culture, and then the sales staff who talked directly to customers had that same culture.
I think I more of summarize the case rather than going to thesis. I think so. That's what I think. I think that's my mistake here on this.
Yeah. And I think you should be okay. When you're ready for that interview, you can. So all you need to do, you need to do your emotional intelligence summary.
Yeah.
You need to come to class next week.
Yeah.
And just to be safe, you can resubmit those 2 points. Those 2 points. And I think I actually, when I responded to you, didn't I actually say, tell me more about this or that? Yeah.
What about the other one?
The corporate change?
Yeah.
What we discussed?
No, that am I getting any points on that?
Yeah.
You're not giving any points on them?
No, because like I said, for the corporate change memo, I took off 1 point because it was unclear whether you're doing 20 or 80%. And in that type of situation, it needs to be crystal clear. Layoff, the difference between 80% being laid off and 20% being laid off being unclear in that situation, that was in the whole thing. Lack of clarity in that type of emotional difficulties. And then the other reason I took it was I took up 1 point for that, and I took up 1 point for the fact that you delivered really bad news but not provided enough details, and so you have this 2-week period of mental damage. But like I said, you submit those comments. You give me a clear thesis on your emotional intelligence. And there's nothing I like more than 10 out of 10 papers.
Yeah.
Like I said, it takes me 30 seconds to grade them.
Yeah.
Now I've got this whole thing on
Okay.
paper.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.